Hi everyone. I want to give you a little bit of feedback. First, I want to talk about your file folder activities. Eventually, we'll have 3. You only needed to hand in 1 this week. For the most part, they weren't great. I want to show you a really good one because we want to remember these are independent activities. So when you're teaching and you have students who maybe need a little bit of enrichment and they can do something on their own, you want to work with a different group. You want students to be able to go to a different part of your room and be able to pull out a file folder activity and be able to work with it. So one, it has to be engaging. It has to use comprehensible input. We want to go from whole to part, and they have to be able to do it by themselves, and we want to use the 4 skills. Those are really basic things that we've learned from day 1. The only thing we've done, instead of writing it out on a lesson plan, is you're putting it in an activity that the students can use as a manipulative. So I'm going to pick one here. I won't say whose it is, don't worry. And it's I thought it was the best example. So here's a file folder. Look how great that looks. If you're a student, you'd say, ooh, that looks fun. And you open it up, and right away, oh my goodness, wouldn't you want to do this? It's ice cream, it's scoops, and you have ice cream scoops here. And look, oh my gosh, this little Velcro, that's so exciting. That was my favorite part. And it's practicing colors. You pull out the scoop, and the student can put the right scoop with the right color. That's not blue, but you understand I can't do it backwards. There's yellow. So the file folder is teaching colors. You also have print, so you have reading there. It's interactive, it's fun. It has a clear set of directions. If they can't read, you could at least help them through it. Also, in the back, it has 2 things which are great: hints and answers. And certainly the teachers talked about this, and all the folders will probably have hints and answers. So if the students want to look at a hint or the answer. The only thing missing in this is an extended activity. Once you match the color and you look at the answers, I would suggest a pull out where students could maybe write the words themselves. I think the extended activity was draw something of the same color, but since we already have the print of the words, I would maybe add, hey, could you write the word first, purple, and then draw maybe grapes or plums or something. So this was the best one I got, and thank you for you know who you are. Some of them were not engaging at all, and if I were a student, and don't worry, let's see, I won't use an example. I might not be so interested in doing it. This was a second best one. Wait, I want to make sure there's no name. That front looks great, and when you open it up, you see that there's a lot of fun stuff here. A lot of fun stuff, but again, the little cards aren't really directly saying what they want to say. The activities could be extended, but it's pretty good. It's second best. So I've given comments. Every single person has a comment inside your file folder to help you improve these and get better at creating them. Regardless, save what you do, because you can begin using them in your OPEs and as you student teach. And once you do it once, you'll get better at creating them. Also, every single one of you will have, I'm going to put all these in order, there's no particular order, in my outbox. I have 2 mailboxes. I have my outbox outside my office, and I have my real wooden mailbox for real mail in the mailroom. Outside my office, I'm going to put, every single one of you has a blue folder, and it has your name. Chris, there's yours. So this blue folder will be outside my box, and anytime you give me work and I want to return it to you, I'll put it in your folder. So leave your blue folder in my outbox, and you can get your work. Same thing when you hand it in. Here, Rebecca, there's one for you. You're going to stick it in your blue folder, and then when I want to return it, I will return it in your blue folder. So all of these are in my outbox, and I did return your chapters 2, 3 responses. Your chapter 1s I did online, and then, chapter 2, 3, so I printed out and I gave you real feedback, except for Colleen, your chapter 2, I couldn't get to print. It was a PDF. And then finally on the discussion board, how much time do I have? On the discussion board, I want to take a minute and talk about your response on the discussion board with the guided reading activity. And I asked you to say what was great and what was not great. I have to say that only 2 of you actually were able to fairly assess that guided reading activity. Okay, as I was saying, sorry, I got interrupted, that we saw the video of the guided reading activity, and many of you, not all of you responded, those who responded said, hey, you know, she did really great, A, B, and C. 2 of you realized she missed the mark on a lot. And if I were her supervising professor, now she's a skilled teacher, I would have been all over her for her approach. A couple things that some of you mentioned. One is that she was going part to whole. We want to begin whole to part. And I think Laura, where are my notes? Laura, you mentioned, you said, hey, I wish she had used the book earlier. These are basic tenets of EAL teaching. We want to go whole to part. There was no comprehensible input. The activity was like meaningless to the students. Let's see. Oh, yeah, Elizabeth, you said there was no context. There was no context. Also, the students were so quiet. And remember, we know that output's as important as input. And then when she did want to assess them, she had them all read at the same time and was assessing them reading at the same time. And I think 2 of you noted that, come on, really? How is she going to see how they're reading? So even though it looked really good and it looked organized and she was teaching grammar and she was really talking about and isolating sounds, do you think that these students really walked away from that lesson feeling, 1, empowered, 2, loving learning, and 3, actually learning something? All of you have such a foundation now on language teaching and how we want to approach it. Comprehensible input, heavy in context, output, have those students talk, have those students engage, do the 4 skills, reading, writing, speaking, and listening. There was so much that was missing from that lesson. It was completely teacher-centered. I mean, she was behind the table. They never even moved. So for that lesson, I really would have given it a thumbs down. So on the discussion, I was really kind because I love you all. And basically, when I grade your discussions, I'm going to grade them as an A response, as a B response, as a C response. I can't imagine some of you will have below C. But what I did was I didn't give C responses this week. I gave B responses and A responses because now that you've had the scenario, I want you to really be more of a reflective practitioner. Look at that lesson and imagine if that were your video for EdTPA. What would they say about that? They'd be all over you. So today's posting is it's a long video, but only watch the first segment, the first 2 minutes. This teacher is teaching pre-reading, and she does a little bit of grammar. And now let's see how she does. Really try to be objective, and let's see what she does well and what she doesn't do well. Maybe everything's great, maybe everything's terrible. Only watch the first segment because next week we'll probably continue to watch more, or I might pick someone else. All right, that's it. I miss you guys. Love you, and I'll get the videos for question 4 or 5 up this afternoon. Bye. Oh, Friday. Let's meet Friday. Let's meet every other Friday, every other Monday. So I'll give you an email because Delaney can't do Fridays and Laura can't do Mondays. So maybe we can start this Friday. I'll give you an email. Thanks. Bye.